But you always ask me like, what's the budget? And I'm like, what's the trip? So we go back and forth with this budget conversation where,
It makes it hard, y'all. It makes it
mm,
hard, just wanted to say.
I mean, I just want to know, like, you know what I like. So then you tell me what it costs. And she wants me to tell her what I can afford so that then she can create what I like based on my budget. And I'm like, budget. What? Welcome to the Brannon Files podcast.
I'm Brandee.
And I'm Shannon, also known as Brannon.
I'm the older sister.
And I'm the younger.
As Black women, we've had a lifetime of adventures, including world travel, navigating work, and adjusting to evolving family dynamics.
Join us as we dig deep into the files to share stories, experiences, and tips. Hey, welcome back to another episode. We're here again.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right. So, Brandee, what have
Yeah,
you navigated through since the last time we talked?
oh, you know what? I am navigating lights on my dash. Now, you know, it doesn't say check engine, so I wasn't like super worried, but obviously if a light comes on, you should probably check it out. And so I was looking, well, no, let me not say looking through the manual. I Googled because why would we look at a manual when you can just put it in Google what the light meant? And it looks like I had low tire pressure.
Mm.
So I went to the tire place just to get it, like, you know how they can do the free air check or whatever. So I went to go get the air checked and everything seemed fine. And I remember a while back, they said that maybe one of my sensors was bad on the tire, but they readjusted a couple things and the light went off. They also said that those sensors are like $150 to $200 each.
Ooh.
Right. But there's nothing wrong with the tire. So I was like, you know what? The last time it corrected itself. So I'm going to try and ride on it and do the couple of troubleshooting that Google said and do it myself. Well, the light has not gone off. And so I was like, well, I could go like to the dealership or whatever and figure out if they can reset it or the system light or if there's something else wrong.
Wait, so
And
you said the tire pressure was not low.
the tire pressure was not low. There was nothing
Okay.
wrong. So likely it's that sensor again, right? And I'm like, it's almost time for a new set of tires. So I don't, no need to replace the $150 sensor if everything's fine. And I got the tires tested 2 different times to make sure there wasn't like a slow leak and the pressure has been fine. So I'm sure it's just that sensor. And it doesn't mean that the tire's not working correctly from what I found. But because the light was still on and it hadn't regulated, I thought maybe I should get a diagnostic to make sure that's the only thing that was wrong with the check system and then the air pressure.
So who did your
So
diagnostic?
I was going to go to the dealership or the shop, but I realized that AutoZone actually does like a free diagnostic. They hook it right up there for free, and you can get. They'll tell you what's wrong. Obviously, they can't fix it, but they will be able to read it, and they confirm that nothing major is wrong. So maybe it could be like time for a 30,000, 60,000 mile checkup. Well, a standard checkup or whatever. But likely, knowing
You
the
said
history, I'm guessing it's a sensor.
that's free? Like free 99?
Like free 99. What's the other place? There's like two places, like AutoZone and then the
Advanced
uh
Auto Parts?
Advanced Auto Parts. Yes, both of those things are free 99. So like you don't have to schedule an appointment because you might have to wait forever at a dealership or at your local shop. And B, it's free to at least know what's wrong before you go to the dealership or the shop.
Oh, so you're just out here navigating hacks is what I'm hearing. Like you had a problem and now all of us who may have these problems have a problem solved. So yeah, thank you for that because I feel like I
Highly
knew that
suggested.
at one
Highly
point,
suggested.
but I definitely forgot about that. I don't go there very often. I go there for like wipers, like windshield wipers
It's
is
one of
what
those
I think
things
of
that
those places for.
right,
Yeah.
for sure. Like if you're not using it, you just forget. Yeah. So, what about you? What have you been navigating since the last time we chatted?
Well, I've been navigating this for like the whole year. This has been my 20th Deltaversary because y'all, I'm old now. I was on campus. I went to Tennessee State University. Shout out to TSU. And homecoming was this past weekend. And I felt like an auntie, but we're like the cool aunties, you know? Like no matter how old you get, the campus still feels like it's yours. but then you look at the babies 'cause the current students, they are babies. They really are. But
Look,
we
I
did
was
some
gonna ask.
community service on campus, and it was really nice to get to talk to some of the freshman girls. And the thing that, like, really stuck out to me that was kinda, like it hurt my heart a little bit, is how many of the girls were like, "I don't have any friends." And they were saying
Hmm.
we were like, "What'd you do this weekend? It's homecoming, like, what are you doing?" And as we were giving out, like, goodies and gifts, and we raised a lot of money to give back to the university. Whoop, whoop. But we also were doing, like, a giveaway at the freshman girls' dorms, and we were knocking on doors and putting up signs and stuff, and asking the girls, like, over the loudspeaker to come down and get some free breakfast and get some, like, free goodies, that they might need. Like, we were giving away feminine hygiene products. We were giving away batteries. We were giving away like a wireless mouse for your computer, snacks, like anything. They could just come fill up a grocery bag and take it back up to their room. But when we were talking to girls on the elevator, they were like, "Yeah, I didn't go out because I don't really have any friends or this, that, and the other." Right. So one of my line sisters was like, "You need a friend, you need a friend. What's your name? What's your name? Y'all are friends now." I'm like, it doesn't work like that, but at least they know each other. Like they lived on the same floor. We know we just came from the
Yeah.
third floor with y'all. So like you can go around the corner and say what's up. Or there was one girl who was like, I wanted to go to a party, but I didn't know I didn't have anybody to go with. Oh, this girl in line, we talked to her. She went to the party last night, so she's your connect. Like, y'all talk, exchange numbers. So we were, like, making connections. I it's something the pandemic changed things, and just younger
I guess
generations,
so.
they're not socializing like we used to socialize. Like, I I saw something or read something, the internet gets all jumbled, that basically was saying that we don't talk to people like we used to because now we go on, like, YouTube to learn things. We just go on the internet, and before, you had to
Well,
find a person who knew how to do it to teach you how to do it.
I also wonder if it's also because half the time, like, let's just say even in line, people are on their phone. They're in their phone the whole time, right? Whereas before, if we are waiting in line, you might be waiting for a while, so at least you talk to the person in front of you and behind you, and now
Yeah. You
that's
strike
not
up a
even happening.
conversation.
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
it was, like, a little disheartening to see that, like, all y'all live in the freshman girls' dorm. Like, there should be some reason, like, in the lounge, walking over to the cafeteria, anything, like, we used to just talk to people. And so I think you're right. Like, sometimes having your head down, we're, like, the most connected and disconnected as we ever have been. So,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
we encourage y'all to engage, even if you are online, and be your whole self. If you're engaging in the comments and have a conversation back and forth, I don't know, slide in somebody's DM, something, but get that human connection back because it's something that this younger generation does nothing about.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear you say that you navigated homecoming. So you navigated it. It did not navigate you. You
It
survived, Auntie.
it did not navigate me. I had some B12, I had zinc, I had vitamin C, I had like all the things. I had all the vitamins to keep me hydrated. I had water on demand. Like, it was like I was ready.
Wait, water on
Homecoming.
demand? Did you have one of them backpacks with a little water hose coming out? Little
No, I did
camelback
not.
or
I did
whatever?
not. It's a joke about water on demand, but it
Oh,
was
okay.
somebody was keeping me hydrated while I was
Got
out and about and making sure I
Oh,
was
okay.
drinking water.
Just checking. Hey, I didn't know. Maybe you were prepared. Like I said, with the backpack on, just like that wouldn't be a bad idea.
That might be next year.
I
Yeah.
feel like that could be a good idea.
Yeah.
Um,
But the way we get down at homecoming, it might not be water in that backpack. Just
well,
saying.
then there's that. Then there's that. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. Shout out to the 20th Delta anniversary. Might or may not be mine too, but just didn't have a homecoming style. So
Oh, that's true.
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we are
Um,
Sands,
we
but
are
we
Sands.
alumni versus college. There's a little bit of a
Totally different
different 20
experience.
year.
And
We both had trips
HBCU.
though. We did
We
both do
did.
trips.
And HBCU on top of that.
Yeah,
So that's a different experience.
I love my HBCU, wouldn't trade it for the world.
And y'all had a great turnout for how many line sisters came back, didn't you? Like sound like an impressive number.
Yeah, I didn't do the percentages, but there was 135 on my line and there was 112 of us present and accounted for at homecoming.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. And that y'all raised the money.
Oh yeah, we had a goal of raising $20,000 and we ended up raising 25,000 at the time of the check donation, but I believe that there were some more donations given in addition to that that hadn't been counted yet.
Amazing. Love to see it. Love to see it. In today's episode, we're talking about accommodations and lodging. Be sure to listen all the way through for our episode tip about making a hotel or short term rental feel like home.
Thanks, Brandy. Also, I want to know what's your lodging style and why?
What's my lodging style and why? Lodging style sounds so official and so,
I mean,
professional.
basically, what do you look for when you're going to stay somewhere that?
I look for um I look for the best bang for my buck. I mean, I'm not gonna say bottom of the barrel. I feel like in another episode we talked about a hostel and we said I wasn't doing that no more. Um, but at the same time, I love nice things, right? But more importantly, I want to have a good trip. So for me, I look for what's clean, nice, and budget friendly. So it has to have I like to have a kind of a happy medium between nice and budget friendly. Now,
What
I
does
love
budget
to be
friendly mean to you? Because budget friendly, everybody's got different versions of budgets.
okay, budget friendly definitely can be relative. I guess I'd say. I would say, I guess if you're looking for a dollar amount, I would say maximum of 250 a night if I'm going on a budget trip, maximum. Hopefully it would be like less than that. 175 to 250 would be like my budget range. But like I said, that's for a budget trip. Now, if I was trying to ball out, that might be something different, but you should be able to get something pretty good almost anywhere in the world, I think, in that range. And I love to see if it's like a continental breakfast or some kind of free breakfast with it, because again, I'm trying to get the bang
Ooh,
for my buck. That will
yeah.
help me save. Other places down like later in the day, like if I can get a good, decent continental breakfast or full breakfast, some places have included, then I can maybe skip lunch and just go to dinner. So it saves you time, money, all the things. So I like to have the best bang for my buck. What
Yeah.
about you?
I
Oh, you got something
mean,
for me?
when you say budget, I'm kind of like, what budget? What you mean budget? I'm a hotel snob, but you always ask me like, what's the budget? And I'm like, what's the trip? So we go back and forth with this budget conversation where
It makes it hard, y'all. It makes it
mm,
hard. Just want to say.
I mean, I just want to know, like, you know what I like. So then you tell me what it costs. And she wants me to tell her what I can afford so that then she can create what I like based on my budget. And I'm like, budget. What? So my travel accommodations that I like, I call myself, I'm a self-professed hotel snob, but it's actually pretty mid-range. Like, even though I say I'm a hotel snob, I'm not staying at the most expensive hotels that there are because we do have friends that actually stay at these hotels.
We know some
So,
hotel snobs who can
yeah,
make us not look like snobs, right?
right. So I'm just saying, like, my version of that's I'm like everything is relative. So what Brandy said about the like accommodations, clean, and all of this, yeah, that makes sense, and that's similar to me. But I also have certain brands that I prefer. So usually I know, like, even if it's a budget end of the spectrum for a particular brand, then I should be good. Like there's certain I will look at stars too. Like for me, that's where it comes in. Like I really to stay in a 3-star hotel is like that's pushing it for me. That's budget friendly for me. Like
I'm
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 really a
laughing inside right now. I just
I'm
want to
really
say,
4 stars and above. But this I'm
remember
just trying
that
to
one
give
time in Miami?
like you were given dollar ranges and I'm gonna give stars, okay? Because that's the best way that I can describe where the snobbery comes in. It was like if it's a 3-star or below, like just at 3 is very hard for me. But also it makes a difference in what country as well. Like US three
I
stars and 3 stars in other countries, like mm, it, 3 stars in some other countries are more like a US 1 star. So you really gotta like look at the pictures, look for the reviews. Like I'm a big review reader also to see what other people said and getting like the reviews of people who took pictures of the room, which that's something that I need to start adding. I need to contribute to this review community because how heavily I rely on other people's reviews, I could probably give some other people some good recommendations based on the reviews that I would give of a place myself.
Now, I do wanna say that I believe that I am a very good reader of pictures, and I do look at the reviews. So although it's in my budget range, I wanna look at the user-generated pictures, not the, not the ones for the hotel, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously those are gonna be beautiful. I can read through a hotel, through a person's picture, and I look for the bathroom first. Bathroom is where I get funny and particular because I can see when they've tried to make an old bathroom look right and look nice, and that's where I draw the line on a bad bathroom. But when you were telling the story about the stars, all I could think about was that time in Miami. Do you remember that time in Miami? I thought she would kill me, y'all. Like, she was just like, I'm not staying here. Like, I cannot stay here. This will not happen. Everything was already paid for and all of the things.
Like, look, if I don't want to lay my head on the pillow, then we've got a
Lay
problem.
my head on your pillow.
I teed that up for you because I was
You
like, the
did.
singing, we missed it last time. So let me
We,
go ahead
we
and tee
did.
this up and see what happens. And
It
we
was
fell right
and I,
into that trap.
right
But
into it.
I was just saying, like, if I feel uncomfortable, like there was a time in Memphis too. I had prepaid for the room in Memphis. I was going to a wedding and my friend was like, "Oh yeah, it's by my mom's house. Like I know that hotel." I got to the hotel. Um I put my bag on the bathroom counter because the bathroom was the place that seemed the safest. Like the bed, I was like, this look, it was just old. It was very old. So that's not mean, doesn't mean it was nasty, but it was the place where I was like, I don't know where I am. Like it was nowhere near anything. I went in, I had already paid for it. I prepaid. I changed clothes for the wedding and put all my stuff back in the car. I was like, I am not coming back to this hotel. Even if I have to drive 4 hours back to Nashville or three and a half, whatever, I will drive home tonight and leave the windows down on the interstate. I'm going home. Like I was like, I'm not gonna sleep in this hotel. So I definitely will uh forego some money for accommodations that just don't feel right to me. But I also the other part, I do like Airbnbs, like, particularly out of the country. I've had really good luck with finding good Airbnbs, and those I also look for the I like the hosts who have like, the super hosts, I think that's what they're called. I look for those, the ones who've had, like, lots of reviews and people who have stayed there, or I might look for one who maybe not a lot of people have stayed there, but you can tell, like what you were saying, you look at the pictures and you can read through some pictures. Even if they had a professional photographer and they only took like one corner of the room, it's like, no, I'm looking for the people who have 50 shots. Like I
I was
want
like,
to
first of
see.
all, that's already a problem. When you only have like two pictures, not doing it. And back to the bathroom. If you do not have a picture of the bathroom, can't happen, won't happen.
We enjoy talking with each other, but we also want to talk with you. Comment, subscribe, like, and follow at Brannon Files on YouTube, IG, and Facebook. Don't forget to turn on your notifications to know when we have new content to share.
So we've talked about the lodging style, self-proclaimed hotel snob. So can you tell me a little bit about what you look for in accommodations?
Well, it kind of depends. Like, if it's a group trip, there's things that I look for. Like, I want a kitchen. I know I talked about not being on a budget, but I'm going to the grocery store. Like, I want things to snack on or the ability to cook because, like, being gluten free, sometimes you can't find things to eat in places that you want, and everybody else can just grab something that's super carby and you're like, "I'm hungry. I need something to eat." I also tend to bring, like, some type of, bars with me on trips as much as I can or, like, bag of nuts or something from the plane, any of that. But as far as accommodations go, the other thing that I look for are individual bathrooms. Like, I think that's the beauty of a rental is that you can find that almost every room has a bathroom or, like, maybe 2 people are sharing a bathroom, and you don't have to have the whole house sharing one bathroom.
So you're talking pretty much like an Airbnb. You
Yeah,
like to do Airbnb for group trips.
yeah, for group trips, because it's like it's you have the vibes, everybody's together, you can do some, like, fun interactive things, and you can go off to your own spaces.
Yeah. 100%. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. So like what would you say is the ratio of people to bathroom? Do you have like a ratio for that?
I would say preference is 1 to 2 per bathroom, and max would be like 4.
Yeah, 4 starting to feel a little dorm-like to me or sound a little
Right,
dorm-like.
but
Okay,
I'm just
okay.
saying that's the max, because like,
Yeah,
even if you like, if you were really trying to be budget and you got a double bed hotel room and you had 2 people per bed, that's 4 people for 1 bathroom.
that's
Like,
right, that's true. I
yeah.
didn't think about it like that, but yeah, yeah, 100%. Now, with your Airbnbs, do you do Airbnbs in the US, or has it been more of an international thing for you?
I've done more Airbnbs in international, like, out of the country, and I've had really good, like, some super hosts. I mean, I know that's a term on Airbnb, but I don't mean it from that term. I mean, just, like, the people were awesome. They had, like, reservation books for you where they give you, like, a list of tours. When I was in Poland, I was in Krakow, and my host had a whole tour guide,
Oh, wow.
booking, like, he could help me connect to a tour, and the tour bus came and picked me up right from outside of the apartment building and took me on the tour and dropped me right back off at
Talk
the
about
apartment
curbside
building.
service.
Yeah. Like, so it was great. He was very, responsive, but he didn't even live in the country anymore, but he kept his property. And then in Cuba, I had a great Airbnb too. They had a security guard for us at night. They had people come in and cook in the courtyard. There was like a courtyard cafe inside the property. Um, where else have I had really good? Oh, in Indonesia, we had a great host there too. What I find in other countries is that a lot of times they're like management companies that are
Yeah,
managing the properties. So like
they manage a few of them.
yeah, that's what the people who we're communicating with, that's what they do. So, I know their initial intent for Airbnb was to, like, rent out your house, but these are, like, rental properties for the owners, and then they have somebody who's hired to be your concierge, basically.
I have to admit that I like when we go on a trip together and we want to Airbnb because that's when I finally get to not plan and hand it off to you because you do an amazing job getting good Airbnb. Like for your 40th, as much as I planned, you did find the Airbnb and it was
Oh,
bomb and I was able to
glad you
communicate
recognize I
after
did
that.
something for that trip.
I'm putting it out there that you did do something, and it was a big thing because we had to have a good place to lay our head. But yes, like that is where I can actually not be part of the planning part and leave that to you if we're on a trip together for Airbnb. Not that I can't do it myself, but you just do such a good job.
Well,
Like I
thank
haven't,
you.
I think you're like never failed on an Airbnb that I know of. That's a good question though. Have you ever had an Airbnb where it was a fail?
Um, I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're like 100% in that realm.
Yeah,
I just
even
didn't know maybe when I wasn't there, maybe you had your own experience.
no, I even stayed in an Airbnb in, like, Minnesota. Because
Yeah,
a coworker and I were going to a conference and we had a budget for the amount that our organization wanted to spend. And so we agreed that we would didn't mind staying in an Airbnb together. And I just again, it was that, well, especially because it was a coworker, we need our own
yeah,
bathroom. Like we don't even
100%.
we're not sharing a bathroom. Like, it's just like because we wouldn't have if we had stayed in a hotel, we would have had our own separate hotel rooms. So it was like we both have our own rooms in the Airbnb and we have our own bathrooms. And we had a kitchenette and like it was a great that was a great Airbnb. It was walkable to the university we were doing a presentation at, and it worked out really well.
Cool. That's awesome. So you just said something that made me think about like what I think about and what I look for in accommodations. And you said it was walkable to the university. I really like to look at proximity to the main things that I want to do when I think
Yeah.
about like what I'm looking for in accommodations, because again, it can save you money in the long run, right? Like if you find a cheap Airbnb, but it's way or a hotel, whatever, but it's way out of the city, like you might spend more money on transportation, either public transit, depending on where you're staying, if they have it, or Ubers or taxis or whatever. So I feel like then that can make it a wash about your money savings. So I'd rather spend a bit more and be in close proximity to a majority of the things that I want to do. And it helps me get exercise, right? I mean, I know technically who wants to think about maybe exercise on vacation, but it's a natural exercise, especially if you're in, say, Europe or somewhere that's very used to walking and walkable. It's just a natural way to get around. So I like proximity to either the activity that I'm there for, or just a majority of the tourist sites or locations is something that's really important to me.
Yeah. And I know we talked about, or I was talking about group trips for Airbnbs, and I did a little bit of work travel with the Airbnb, but I actually, if it's like a conference or something that I'm going to, I do like to stay at the host hotel as much as possible.
Mm,
Because that proximity to your room, when you have those breaks, like when there's a moment, or even if there isn't a break and you just decided I'm not going to this session, it's nice to be able to go back to your room and put your feet up or have like your quiet time after peopling because conferences can be a lot of peopling. And
yeah.
so it's harder for me, it's harder to have an Airbnb when I'm going to something like that.
And I think, back to even the part that you navigated through about connecting, I think when you're in an Airbnb or something like that for a conference, you miss out on a lot of the connections, right? Because you might be staying
Yeah,
further out, or just some of the natural networking at night that happens in the hotel lobby, as things are winding down, you miss out on. However, I'll have to say the caveat for that is depends on if I am attending the conference, or if my client is attending the conference. Because if my client is
ah,
attending the conference, I actually do not want to be in the host hotel because I want to be able to turn off.
yeah,
But I do want to be in a hotel that's very close in proximity so I can still get back and forth to work. But I just, whew, when they're in the same hotel as you, sometimes no matter how much you love them, it's like
they
then they want
find
you to go
you.
out for they find you, they want you to go out for drinks, they want you to eat with them, and they don't realize that you have to be up at 6 in the morning the next day to get what they need done when they get to roll in at 8, right?
Or
So
you
they
had
want you
paperwork or something you're taking care of that night for them to have in the morning?
any of those things. So I think that what I look for in accommodations can definitely range depending on the use case and who I'm with. But yeah, I look for proximity typically. But I do like what you said about conferences. And a lot of the best connections at conferences happen in the natural networking. I'd say not during the sessions. So
Yeah, that's true.
being in proximity is important.
And there was something at the top of the episode that you mentioned that I wanted to go back to. You were talking about bathrooms, like when we were talking about looking at pictures. I wanna know, what is it that you look for in these pictures of bathrooms?
I mean, it's like I don't even know if I can tell you exactly what I look for, but the way I can sum it up best is to say remodeled, okay? Like I feel like I'm pretty good at looking at seeing when the last remodel is. And honestly, if I don't know before I book a hotel, I will politely email them and be like, "When was your last remodel?" If I'm on the fence about a hotel, "When were you last remodeled?" But like sometimes I feel like if it's a tile bathroom, you can kind of see if the grout lines are a little dirty or
Mm,
not, or like maybe around the sink, maybe the caulking doesn't look so new, maybe it's peeling. Random and very detailed, I know, but like I feel like I'm a pretty good read of like remodel bathrooms. And if they have like a solid surface in the shower, that makes me feel even better because there's no grout to have been dirty, to have like bacteria building up. Um, I mean, it's interesting because Europe is older, right? A lot of things in
right.
Europe are older. So maybe some of it is also about maintenance if it's not like a brand new remodel. And honestly, more and more, I don't really like staying in places that have carpet. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
am liking the hard surface, like trend to like remodel things with hard surface. Back in the day, I would have been like, oh, like who wants a hard surface? Now I'm like, yes, help keep it clean. Okay. Like carpet
Ooh,
just, mm, mm.
you just that just made me think of something because, right now Paris is having a bed bug
Girl, I was trying not to
infestation.
think about it.
I mean, it's current news. It's what's going on
It
right now.
is. It
But
is. But it
but
freaks
t
me out
thinking
thinking
about
about it.
hard surfaces and soft surfaces and, like, what's your routine when you go into a hotel room?
Ooh, my routine. Oh, okay. I never thought about that. My routine. Okay, first of all, I like to carry a little spray bottle of alcohol, just straight alcohol. What do you call it? Disinfectant spray, Lysol, all that's good, but you don't even need all that. You can just get a straight alcohol bottle, pour it into a travel size alcohol thing, and I am spraying all the main light switches, the little bedside lamp, the phone. Woo. I don't really watch TV, so I don't. If I did, I guess I'd spray the
The remote.
spray the remote, but I know some people who, like, actually put it in a plastic bag so they have to touch it, but I'm not really dealing with the TV. Let me see, what else will I spray down?
Ooh, I had never really
Uh,
thought about bringing a Ziploc for the remote, because sometimes those
yeah,
things are grimy.
my friend who's a flight attendant swears by it.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good idea.
and then, like, I hadn't been as diligent as I used to, but given Paris situation, I will be again. You need to check the corners of the beds. Like, you have to check the corners and things like that. Um, you okay over there, Shan?
Yeah, that's why I
Just
muted
wanna make
myself.
No,
For
no
those of
worries,
you
just
who
wanna make
who
sure you're
couldn't
okay.
see, I was having a coughing fit.
No, I just wanted to check on you. But yeah, you should check the corners of the beds. And most importantly, which I learned a long time ago and haven't done it in ages, do not, do not set your suitcase on the bed to open it up and try and see where your things are. Don't set your suitcase on anything soft surface. So if they don't have one of those luggage racks, I normally use the desk or the side table or something, like if they have like a little side table to put my suitcase on. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I
Yeah.
definitely try to put my suitcase on a desk or something if there's not a luggage rack. Although I didn't think about no soft surfaces. Like I have definitely put it on one of the chairs before when I couldn't find something. Because before, usually the convenience was that it was elevated, but the floor is carpeted. So even if the only place to put your luggage was on the floor, something's going to be a soft surface. But yeah,
But usually, well, yeah, if you had to open it on the floor, yes. But at least normally, if it's just standing on the floor, like it's zipped, right?
right. But I meant like to actually take something
Oh, yeah,
out of
lay it
it
out.
or to unpack or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good reason to have you as my roommate, in a hotel because 'cause you're gonna go through all of that, and I need to do better. I do spray some things, like, I sometimes I think about it, but it's not I definitely don't have a routine per se. I just get in there and go like this that the cleaning crew did their job, and usually I like to start hanging stuff up. Like, I'm not somebody who puts anything in drawers. A lot of hotels don't even have drawers anymore. But
Yeah.
I definitely I'm like a if it's events that I'm going to, I will try to, like, hang up the long stuff or hang up dresses or hang up something because I definitely don't iron as much as possible either. So, I want all the wrinkles to release in any way that they can by just going, like, "Hang it up," and maybe I might even hang it in the bathroom with me when I take a shower and hope that that
Hoping for
steam
some steam.
yeah, helps loosen it up a little bit, but, yeah, I don't really have a routine. I do
Oh,
I do carry the alcohol spray bottle now that you have told me about that, but it's needing to use it that's the part I gotta make a routine.
that did also remind me, I like to spray the toilet handle, like the flush for the
Oh,
toilet
yeah.
and the sink,
The knobs.
the knobs in the sink, and then the bathroom, all the light switches, I guess I should just say, because
Yeah.
you're likely gonna touch those. Yeah, I don't do the drawer thing either. Like, why do we even have drawers there? I'm not even gonna be there that long likely, and even if I am, that creeps me out too. So if I was gonna be there for weeks, I would have to disinfect that thing so good to put my stuff in a drawer. I don't know. My suitcase is just fine.
My suitcase is my dresser, and my packing cubes are my drawer. That's
Exactly. That's what I say. The packing cubes make it that way. That way, just like I keep like the same like items in a cube, right?
right.
Shirts, underwear, bottoms, however it goes.
It's time to dig into the files for today's tip.
Today's tip is all about how to make spaces away from home, like a rental or a hotel, feel more like home. So some things that I like to do, even though I said I didn't have a routine, I guess this is sort of a routine. I am very particular about smells. So I have like my family will come into my house and they're like, smells like Shannon's house. Like I liked like the fall scents, kind of like the baked goods, the apple spice, like more cinnamon spice type. And I
What
have
about
this
pumpkin spice? It's October.
I
No.
mean, pumpkin spice, it's usually the
Mm.
pumpkin that's the problem. Like pumpkin spice actually as a spice with like the cardamom, the nutmeg, the cinnamon. I like all of those smells, but it's when people try to add that false pumpkin in when things get all weird. So
Gotcha.
no, that's not a candle that I bring. But so what I was trying to say about the tip is that I like to bring either a candle with me that's like in a little tin, or I even have like some that are in little jars like this, and or a spray of some sort. Like I also really like essential oils, and I mix up some of the different scents that I like and will bring that with me so that the place smells like home. What about you, Brandy?
I do like scents a lot as well, but I don't do it like I used to. I used to have like a little travel candle in a aluminum tin. That was nice because you don't have to worry about the glass. But what I've started doing now is really bringing my own pillow. For a long
Mm.
time, I was like, that's taking up extra space in my suitcase. But if it's more than a weekend, I realize that it really affects my quality of sleep. So I need to bring my pillow so that everything can be aligned. I'm not making extra trips to the chiropractor. And I like to bring a lavender spray to put on my pillow
Oh,
because it
see,
helps
that's
you
a
go to
scent.
it is a scent, but I use it more just to, like, kind of calm and go to sleep when I'm in a different place just to make it feel more relaxed, and then, you mentioned it earlier, also bringing my own snacks as well. I mean, we're both gluten-free, gluten intolerant, so, you might go hungry if you're waiting to find something that you can eat, or it might be late and things are closed except for, like, pizza, and not every place has gluten-free pizza, so it is nice to travel with some of, your own gluten-free snacks, whether it be the plane or for the hotel or the Airbnb, some basic starters like that.
And on that pillow tip, I have a tendency to bring my own satin pillowcase. So, like,
Oh,
I know I've mentioned on
yeah.
other episodes that I self-maintain my locks and trying to stretch that out a little bit. Like, I'm not really a bonnet wearer anymore, or I don't tie them down with a scarf. I was like, forget all that. I'm just going to sleep on a satin pillow. And so far that has worked really well for me. So when I'm not as particular about what style pillow I have, but the pillowcase helps it make it feel pretty consistent for me. I was going to say one more thing to make things feel like home for people who are in their rentals or their hotels and they are like, I'm here to relax. I just want to watch all my shows and watch TV. Bring like either pick a Airbnb that has streaming service available on the TVs, or bring like a Fire Stick or something where you can plug it in, or Apple TV, whatever you've got that has your streaming services on there. You can usually, and an HDMI cord. That's the important part too. So you can plug it in and watch away and have what you would normally watch at home with you. Well,
Well,
thank you so much for joining us today. This has been another episode of the Brannon Files.
yes, and the tip of the day is make the place you're staying away from home feel like home.
Until next time, see ya.
Bye.
Thank you for rocking with us as we embark on this journey. The Brannon Files podcast is a labor of love. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, IG, and Facebook at Brannon Files and check back for our next episode.